Hey, it's Jorge from brewbeeranddrinkit.com, and today what I'm going to be doing is brewing a Berliner Weiss. Now, the recipe for this beer is really simple. It's just 6 pounds of grain total, 3 pounds of German wheat, and 3 pounds of German Pilsner. I'm going to go no hops with this beer whatsoever. Everything's going to be on the fermentation side of this beer. Now, I want to talk about something real quick before I get started and let you know that if you're watching this video, make sure that you watch part 2 before you do anything that I'm going to be doing with this video, because I'm going to be doing a lot of experiments with this beer. There's a lot of things that I really need to find out in order to get my sour beer production going. And the main reason for this is because there's a lot of conflicting information. For sour brewing, I think for the most part is an uncharted territory. I haven't seen many people post all their information and kind of expose themselves out there. There's only a few brewers I know who are constantly writing and blogging about sour beers. A lot of great information out there from those folks, but there's still a lot of things that we still need to figure out as homebrewers. So hopefully with this series of beers that I'm going to be doing here in the near future, we can start to get to understand sour brewing a little bit more in detail. So anyways, I'm going to be using Lactobacillus to brew this beer. And then for yeast, I'm going to actually use Dusseldorf alt yeast, so just a regular German ale type of yeast. Now, I didn't want to go with the typical Berliner Weiss yeast blend, only because I know that takes a little too long for the sourness to develop. It may take up to like 3 to 6 months, and frankly I don't want to wait that long for the sourness to develop, especially if we can get that sourness right off the bat. So if you attended the National Homebrewers Conference last year, there was a speech on sour brewing, specifically Berliner Weiss. This was done by Jess Caudill from Yeast Labs, and also Jason Kaler from Solera Brewing. They talked about how they go about brewing their Berliner Weiss, and basically what they're doing is they're just pitching lacto at the very beginning, no yeast, no nothing, let the lactose sour up the beer, and then pitch the yeast. So, and now when you go online and read about that, there's a lot of conflicting information, because some people say, well, the pH gets to a point where it drops below the threshold of the yeast, so the yeast won't be able to ferment the beer. Now, I've got a little bit of conflicting information with that, so the only way to really find out, I guess, at this point is to just go ahead and do it. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's the reason why, if you're watching this video, make sure that you watch part 2 whenever I release it, so you can learn about the results and, see what came out about this. So if this doesn't turn out to be, if this doesn't turn out well, oh well. You got to experiment to get information. So anyways, that's what we're doing. It's going to be a fairly simple brew day, hopefully a very short brew day, and you'll see. So let's go ahead and get started. So I started out by adding my grains to the mash tun, and then I did my salt additions. Salt additions was a 1/4 teaspoon of gypsum and 1/2 teaspoon of calcium chloride, so nothing too big. It's only 6 pounds of grain we've got here. And now for mashing, just a simple infusion mash. You want to mash at a slightly lower temperature, 149 degrees. That seems to work fairly well. Probably extend this to about an hour, maybe 90 minutes, depending on how conversion is going. So you want to do a fairly, we want to get a little bit on the thinner side of the grain to water ratio for this. So once you have your mash going, set it up, then you start to recirculate. And again, for this beer style, I'm not too concerned about getting clear wort, so I'm just gonna at least get rid of the as much starch residue as possible, but really nothing to worry about. So anyways, for this beer style, I went ahead and did batch sparge. So this is me collecting the first runnings, and then after this I added more water to the mash tun, and I started collecting my second set of runnings. And you can see the wort is fairly light colored on this. Now I actually ended up collecting a little more wort than I wanted to. I probably wanted to collect less than 6 gallons because you know, for this beer I'm not really gonna boil it much. Really, here's what I did. I brought this to a boil. Now one thing that I did notice when I was mashing, I saw these little kept seeing these little black dots, almost like residue from a darker malt, probably from the mill. And now I don't know if that was coming from you know, the malts that I got, or if I probably got just some residue. And you can see the foam here, the hot break. You know, it's a little on a darker side, and you know, that's usually typical of your dark malts, some of your roasted malts. I'm not sure what to think about that, and I'm not sure how the color of this beer is going to be affected by that, if at all, if I was just seeing things. But anyways, you know, what I did with this beer is I just basically brought this to a boil, and as soon as I brought it to a boil, I just started collecting some wort. And this wort was basically going to be used to grow yeast. So after that, I stopped the boil. There's really no need to keep boiling. You know, I wasn't going to hop the beer or anything, so it started to cool down the wort. And the other thing is I only cooled it down to about 90 degrees because that's where I want to pitch the lactose. So I started collecting you know, the wort, and well, transferring the wort to the fermenter. And now the key thing here, you know, based on the information I got, is you don't want any oxygen to go in. So you don't want to actually aerate this wort as you usually do. And the reason for that is because you're going to be pitching your lacto here. So you pitch your lacto, and again, lacto works anaerobically, basically doesn't need oxygen. So that's why I collected some wort on the side, and this is where I'm going to grow the yeast as the main you know, batch of beer starts to sour. So that's basically what I have going on right now. You know, I'm souring the fermenter, and I've got yeast growing you know, on the side. Obviously I'm controlling the temperature in this one. So stay tuned for the rest of the videos, and I'll let you know how all this turns out.